Okay.
The difference between the French Revolution and the U.S. Revolution was profound, but you don't usually see it at the very beginning.
Right.
Thomas Paine and Thomas Jefferson didn't see the difference between the American Revolution and the French Revolution until Thomas Paine was in the Bastille.
About to be beheaded.
You know what saved him? Anybody know what saved him?
I do. I can't remember this moment, though.
A fever saved him.
He had a fever?
He had a fever.
And they didn't want to kill him while he had a fever?
He was supposed to be beheaded.
That's right.
And he was taken, believe it or not, he was taken to the doctor.
Yeah.
And the cell door was left open. Thomas Paine's cell door was left open in the Bastille because he was at the doctor's. The guy came and put all the notices of who was going to be beheaded the next morning. Because that door was open, he thought, oh, well, he's already been beheaded, and didn't put the marking on his door. When he came back to his cell, they just closed the door, and they didn't behead him. That's the only thing. If that's not the protection of divine providence, I don't know what is. But anyway, they didn't see it. But the difference is a group of people that believe in the power of the individual. I haven't heard anything here. I've heard about democracy, but democracy does not work. Our founders made a great case against democracy. Democracy doesn't work, because what happens is that's mob rule. That's why we have the House, the Senate, the President, and the judicial. We have a republic. They went through and looked at all of the different things that had worked and had failed. And that's why they came up with this, they called the American experiment. You don't hear anything except cries of democracy. As soon as you scratch the surface off, as soon as you just take a little bit of that veneer off, you start to hear the real rhetoric, which is hate of Israel, hate of America, hate of Mubarak, and they have every reason to hate him and to not trust us. If I were them, I wouldn't trust us either. I wouldn't trust us either.
Yeah, when I tell them about that, and I'm like, we are like living in the last days right now, and it's happening, and they just like, well, whatever, chaos is good every once in a while. I'm like, I don't believe that.
No. Well, then, were they for TARP? Are they for the bailouts? Were they for the bailout of GM? They didn't want chaos with GM. And that wasn't chaos. That was structured through something called bankruptcy. But they wouldn't accept that. They just want chaos. Controlled collapse, like bankruptcy, can be good. A controlled implosion of a building can be good. Just setting bombs off at a building haphazardly is not a good idea. But if you want to take a building down, there is a way to do it so it has the least amount of violence and the least amount of damage, collateral damage. Chaos is not it. Chaos leads to more chaos. Chaos leads to, hey.
Fear.
Chaos leads to fear.
Leads to suffering.
Yeah.
Suffering. No, fear.
Yeah,
fear. Wait. Hold it. You should. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to suffering.
Of course.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You
suck. You suck. Rich, you're right on the money, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
All right.
After the dark side.
All right, here it is.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate.
Hate. I left out hate
leads
there.
to suffering.
Hate, I left out.